mga kadonatics, ang legal counsel ni Tatay Digong humiling ng interim release. Pero ang problema mga kadonatics, kahit ma-release si Tatay Digong, hindi siya tatanggapin ng Pilipinas. Nakakakulo talaga ng dugo mga kadonatics. Hindi tatanggapin ni Ngagba at ng kanyang mga alipores. Former President hindi tatanggapin sa Pilipinas kahit hindi pa nahatulan ng guilty. So ang mangyayari mga kadonatics, may isang bansa na willing tumanggap kay Tatay Digong. Nako, grabe. Pero I don't think mga kadonatics kung isang bansa lang, kasi dito makikita natin mga kadonatics na nasa 10 bansa hanggang ngayon ay sumusuporta pa rin kay Tatay Digong sa pamulakad niya nung siya ay presidente ng Pilipinas. Malalaman natin yan ngayon mga kadonatics. Eto, panoorin natin.
Hiniling ng kampo ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa International Criminal Court o ICC ang interim release o pansamantalang paglaya at paglipat ng dating Pangulo sa isang hindi pinangalanang bansa. Sa isang dokumento na makikita sa ICC website, nakasaad doon na may isang bansa na nagpahayag ng kahandaang tumanggap kay dating Pangulong Duterte habang siya ay pansamantalang nakalaya. Nakasaad pa sa petisyon na nakahanda ang naturang bansa na ipatupad ang mga kondisyon na maaaring itakda ng ICC.
Grabe itong bansa na itong mga kadonatics. Lahat ng mga kondisyon ng ICC willing nilang tanggapin para lang tanggapin si Tatay Digong. Gustong-gusto talaga nila mga kadonatics. Yung advice ni Tatay Digong, napakalaki yan, especially sa politics. Kasi expert yan si Tatay Digong sa geopolitics mga kadonatics. Kaya it's a good news for that country, especially sa pamulakad sa gobyerno nila.
Iginit din ng kampo ni Duterte na hindi siya kwalipikado para sa karagdagang pre-trial detention dahil wala siyang kakayahan na tumakas o makasagabal sa investigasyon. Dahil dito, hiniling ng kanyang legal team na agad siyang palayain sa ilalim ng mga kondisyong itatakda ng pre-trial chamber.
Alright mga kadonatics, alamin natin yung 10 bansa at isa doon ay willing tumanggap kay Tatay Digong. Though hindi minention ng legal counsel or sa ICC, pero for sure sa mapapanood natin ngayon, isa ang bansa dito. Eto na.
We identified the countries that demonstrate clear and consistent support for Duterte's leadership legacy in 2025. Now let's begin the countdown with number 10. Number 10 on our list is Nicaragua, a country that shares Duterte's defiance of Western political pressure. Under President Daniel Ortega, Nicaragua has consistently opposed U.S.-led criticisms at global institutions like the United Nations. During Duterte's administration, Nicaragua voted alongside the Philippines in key international sessions, defending national sovereignty over external intervention. While the two nations aren't deeply connected economically, their shared ideology prioritizing domestic control over global expectations puts Nicaragua on this list in 2025 as a symbolic ally of Duterte's legacy. At number 9 is Turkey, where President Erdogan's leadership continues to mirror some of Duterte's methods. Both leaders emphasized law and order governance, national pride, and resisting foreign interference, although not loudly vocal in support. Turkey has consistently avoided criticism of Duterte's human rights record and drug war. In 2025, Ankara still fosters quiet diplomatic relations with Duterte-aligned figures and maintains its admiration for strongman governance, earning it a place on this list. Number 8 goes to Pakistan, a nation that has long emphasized internal security, counterterrorism, and conservative governance. Throughout Duterte's term, Pakistan expressed support for his war on drugs and firm law enforcement, seeing parallels with its own internal challenges. While not widely publicized, diplomatic gestures and shared rhetoric at regional forums during his presidency showed a quiet respect that persists in 2025 through regional dialogues and policy alignment. Taking 7th place is Hungary, a country whose political direction under Prime Minister Viktor Orban closely mirrors Rodrigo Duterte's leadership style. Both leaders are known for challenging Western liberal norms and prioritizing national sovereignty over international pressure. While they may not share deep economic ties, Hungary consistently avoided publicly criticizing Duterte's war on drugs, setting it apart from other European nations. By 2025, Hungarian media occasionally referenced Duterte's governance as a a model that values cultural identity, border control, and firm leadership. This quiet ideological alignment continues to shape Hungary's sympathetic stance toward Duterte's legacy. At number 6 is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a long-standing economic and labor partner of the Philippines during and after Duterte's presidency. The kingdom refrained from criticizing Duterte's domestic policies, focusing instead on his efforts to protect the welfare of millions of overseas Filipino workers. His administration prioritized worker safety and repatriation, which earned quiet praise from Saudi officials. In 2025, that goodwill still carries weight. Several Filipino political figures aligned with Duterte continue to maintain strong diplomatic engagement with Saudi Arabia, reflecting a relationship built on mutual respect and shared labor interests. The kingdom also continues to support labor reforms first introduced under Duterte's administration. This enduring collaboration reinforces the trust built during his time in office. Number 5 on our list is Indonesia, a neighboring country with similar strategies in handling drug-related crimes and national discipline. Indonesia's history of enforcing the death penalty for drug offenses shaped its understanding of Duterte's war on drugs. Rather than condemn it, Indonesia signaled support through ASEAN's cooperative frameworks, stressing regional sovereignty and law enforcement. By 2025, this bond remains intact. Quiet diplomacy and continued coordination on border security and crime prevention reflect Indonesia's ongoing respect for Duterte's firm governance style. Indonesian analysts still cite Duterte's policies as examples of decisive leadership in Southeast Asia. This shared approach to discipline and order has strengthened mutual trust over the years. At number 4 is the United Arab Emirates. The UAE welcomed Duterte's firm stance on protecting migrant workers and fostering economic independence. His administration established key labor agreements and development projects that benefited both nations. Even in 2025, these initiatives are still active. Emirati leaders continue to engage with Duterte-aligned politicians, maintaining warm relations rooted in shared economic goals and migrant protection. Cultural exchanges and bilateral business forums have also grown, thanks to diplomatic groundwork laid during Duterte's term. This reflects a lasting appreciation for his international engagement. Vietnam takes the 3rd spot, thanks to its strategic alignment with Duterte's approach to regional diplomacy, pragmatism, and sovereignty-first governance. Although Vietnam and the Philippines had territorial disputes in the South China Sea, Duterte avoided escalating tensions. Instead of confrontation, he favored dialogue and cooperation through ASEAN mechanisms. This approach was viewed favorably in Hanoi, which appreciated his commitment to regional unity over external intervention. Vietnamese officials respected Duterte's balance between asserting national interest and preserving regional peace. In a region sensitive to great power competition, his non-aligned posture resonated with Vietnam's own foreign policy strategy. By 2025, Vietnamese media and diplomats occasionally referenced Duterte's leadership as an example of steady, calculated decision-making. His legacy continues to influence how Vietnam engages with ASEAN partners and larger powers alike. Russia is holding the 2nd spot, one of the few global powers with which Duterte built a deeply ideological and strategic connection. From the start of his presidency, Duterte made clear his admiration for Russian President Vladimir Putin, often calling him a model of strong leadership. This mutual respect translated into deeper defense cooperation, including visits, arms deals, and training exchanges between Russian and Filipino forces. What made the Duterte-Russia connection unique was their shared defiance of Western criticism, particularly regarding internal policies and human rights. Both countries often rejected what they considered Western hypocrisy and instead emphasized sovereignty and state control. In 2025, Russian state media continues to highlight Duterte as a global example of bold independent governance. Russian diplomats maintain warm ties with several Philippine political figures associated with Duterte, reinforcing a partnership grounded in shared views on power, order, and resistance to Western pressure. At number one, perhaps the most surprising of all, is China, the most prominent and enduring international supporter of Rodrigo Duterte in 2025. Many expected China to remain a rival due to the ongoing maritime disputes in the South China Sea. Yet Duterte took a radically different path. Instead of confrontation, he chose diplomacy, shifting Philippine foreign policy away from traditional Western allies and toward Beijing. Under his presidency, China pledged billions of dollars for infrastructure projects, poured investments into energy and telecommunications, and significantly increased high-level diplomatic visits. This pivot stunned both regional analysts and international observers. Duterte's decision to downplay the Philippines' legal victory over China in The Hague was controversial at home, but in Beijing, it was seen as a gesture of political maturity. Chinese officials praised him as a leader who prioritized regional stability and economic cooperation over conflict. In 2025, Chinese media continues to refer to Duterte's time in office as a golden era in China-Philippines relations. His close allies are still invited to forums and dialogues, and diplomatic ties remain active with figures from his former administration. Of all the countries on this list, China's continued support for Duterte is the most complex, rooted in mutual benefit, strategic diplomacy, and a shared interest in resisting Western influence. It may be surprising, but it is also deeply calculated. While international support for Rodrigo Duterte may appear strong in specific circles, public opinion both within and outside the Philippines remains deeply divided. For some, Duterte represents firm leadership, national sovereignty, and a willingness to challenge global powers. To others, his legacy is marked by controversy, human rights concerns, and a departure from democratic norms. The countries listed in this video reflect government-level or strategic alignment, not necessarily the voice of their entire populations. In many of these nations, civil society groups, media commentators, and even opposition politicians continue to raise concerns about Duterte's policies. This contrast highlights the complex way power and influence operate across borders. Admiration from foreign governments does not always mirror the views of everyday people. Looking at this list, one thing becomes clear. Rodrigo Duterte's influence did not end when he left office. His leadership style, foreign policy decisions, and unapologetic rhetoric continue to resonate with certain governments and political actors across the world. From regional neighbors like Vietnam and Indonesia to global players like China and Russia, Duterte has left behind more than just a domestic legacy. He's become a symbol of a certain kind of political identity. Whether one sees him as a bold reformer or a controversial strongman, his global imprint remains.